realized some really, really, really intense things today. I've been here my whole life, helping other people that are, or would be, way more horrible, the damage to humanity if I wasn't there. Does that make any sense? It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. In the service, the racist people that I served with, I remember on the ship them being and saying very nasty things about the Haitians. And we were issued, guns, the law enforcement, qualified ones of us. And I was so worried for the souls that we carried and rescued. I was so worried that women would be raped or people would be thrown over. Like, I was so worried for the people that we rescued. Do you understand me? I put my life in risk over and over and over again, jumping in water or on sinking boats, saving thousands of refugees. Some of the people that I served with were so horrible and racist and sexual abusive. But you know what? Because I was there, I protected so many. I would take extra watches, and even when I was off duty, I would always rotate and check in when I knew when certain people were going to be on duty. You see? And yes, I did intercept. Several. And I'm sure many other things happened. I mean, if I was abused, then there's probably others, even on my own ship. Probably even at the same time. Oh boy. I'm sorry, it's just one instance of where I have been in a situation between a horribly abusive, out of control person and or persons or group and others that are being treated, bullied, very badly. I've done this my whole life in martial arts as a kid. It's wild. And I used to feel so ashamed of that all these people that hurt me along the way, that I was enabling them, because I did a lot, and that's part of the moral injury of serving for 27 years also. But I have to come to terms with the fact that I myself acted like, looked like, played the part of, was convinced I was often just like them. And that's when I was what I would call myself a sociopath or psychopath. And I would say this to these people, you see, but they'd be like, no. And I would agree with them because the shit I would watch them do, I thought was truly psychopathic and, short of... Anyway, but I felt like I was there. I curbed, I edged, I cushioned, I boundaried, I took so much heat in the place of so many people in my life. That's amazing. It's just amazing to me. I have a feeling like I've just failed everybody. But I think about it now and I'm like, I did as much as I possibly and humanly could do to prevent and help every single person from becoming an abused person in any way, shape, or form. And if they were abused prior, I did my best to help normalize it and give them the space and let them know they're loved and it's not their fault. But I was never told that. Never able to tell myself that. Because I'd been convinced very early on by my abusers that all that had been taken care of in all the counseling I did with them through all the years of sessioning in the cult and in the martial arts and all this stuff. And in the military, kind of a similar thing. I report them, I get in trouble. They know I report them, they harass me. They think I'm a little queer or a little too gay acting or a little effy or whatever the word is. They go after me, they chain me in my bunk. They poke me in inappropriate places around my body. They say all kinds of horrible and nasty things to me. They put the name Freak on all of my equipment, everything, and tagged me. And so that's how I dealt with them. I couldn't be queer or non-binary or bisexual, or I couldn't be anything other than heterosexual. And I had to act like them to survive because they got people helicoptered off the ship from harassing them so badly that they tried to attempt suicide. Within the first 3 weeks on the ship that I reported, I sat on suicide watch with a young man they called Pyle, in reference to Full Metal Jacket. My supervisor's mechanic, he's a real piece of shit. But I started buffering everything. That's what I do. I'm always buffering for other people. I buffered for thousands of martial arts students, from the teachers that would be abusers. Me being there, being the cameraman, me being in the room, me being part of boards, me being part of everything. I always thought it was so horrible of me to have enabled. I mean, I didn't really know who they were until later in life, you understand. So it's like I'm blaming myself, and taking myself to court for shit that I didn't even know that I was doing. But that now that I know, I can't let myself off the hook for supporting these horrible, horrible human beings. But I'm starting to understand something. I didn't support them like they wanted me to. They were always upset with me. I couldn't be like anybody. I was always the black sheep. I was always on the outside of all of it. And the most abused out of every person in my family and in that group, the Mentat School, the cult that became Principles of Engagement and so on. And in the military, because I co-served. And I was a slave to both. But I always had my own thing going on, and I never understood why life was so shitty and so hard. Because I just didn't fit in. with everyone that I had been told and brainwashed that I was supposed to and that I was just like. And I went out in the real world and I found out, no, I'm not like that. I'm a lot different. I'm a lot different. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are different like me. Yeah, you're the ones that jump in the water for a chance at rescuing another life. Just like I did over and over and over again. And then once we had him back on the ship, I kept Halo guard like an angel to make sure the people that I knew didn't get to hurt anybody. And I'm sorry for the ones that I didn't protect. There's so many of you out there. I know it's not my job, but I'm just understanding now that even when I was in Oklahoma teaching martial arts, I completely understand now why I went and why I was there. And it was to protect a whole bunch of kids. It was to protect a whole community. A bunch of wonderful, awesome people that another person thought they should be getting hit in the head. I'm glad I was there to disagree with that. I'm glad I was there to make sure that a whole bunch of people didn't get hurt. But that's not my job anymore. Because every time I do that, every time I find myself doing these things and trying to buffer for the bullies instead of just straight call them out and recognize them for what they are. You know, I know and I understand now. And I'm so worried that I may accidentally support somebody or enable somebody who's a fucking nasty asshole person, you know. And it's just not my style ever. But I am taking ownership of, I grew up in and around nasty, horrible people that to all of them and to each other thought they were just all awesome and wonderful. And my experience was a fucking horror show. And it still is. And the only things that have made it worthwhile are the people I've been in love with along the way. Like, I hugged a person the other day. I don't know them very well. I've seen their face a few times. We hugged because we were sharing a mourning moment over a loss of another young person. And I hugged him and I was very cautious because I can get very emotional quickly. And so I kept it very appropriate, but I realized, you know, I hadn't touched another person for months. I hadn't seen my daughter or touched her hand or hugged her. Because I'm afraid. I'm scared of touching people and being touched. And I really miss hugs. Luckily, she gives pretty good hugs. I love you. It's just talking about different things that are coming into mind, right? I'm all over the place. I just want to say that I'm proud of myself for protecting so many people and helping redirect, helping edit the message from all of those nasty folks who had, you know, some good ideas, but there's this part where they were missing the empathic portion of understanding how the people that they're trying to teach it to feel. And as with all people who think they have the best idea or the best thing or the best way of doing something, it's their way or the only way. And then if they're not good at the other part, they will end up being frustrated with you, mean, angry, intolerant, bullying, like brainwash. They'll just gaslight, narcissist. Like it's just a horrible experience being a student of a person like that when they don't have anyone cutting off, like helping keep at bay their nastiness. So this is what I realized I did a lot. I did it with everyone in my family, including just the fact that they all had to face me repeatedly, continuing to be the happiest, joyous possible fucking soul he could be. And continuing to succeed in the military and do everything nobody could ever believe that I could do. And I did it. And I was a good dad. I wasn't great. I mean, I love. God damn. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, I'm just starting to let myself off the hook a little bit. I feel like I did a good job morally of breaking bonds as soon as I understood what kind of monsters they were. I wish I had realized sooner. And at the same time, then I probably wouldn't have stuck around as long protecting other people. So, I am a guardian type figure. That's who I am. And, so I'm just going to be like, hey, that was my job for a while. That was my job to do that. And I did a great job at it. And it also took its toll on me. And that's okay. And that I still do that, but I do it in a different way now. And that is by not interacting with the people that would be abusing other people at all. Just take out the nasty person out of the equation. And I'm just trying to get to the hearts of all the people who need help, waking up to and understanding that they need to establish boundaries. They need to learn how to check people out. They need to be able to have the inner strength to say no and help and get away from me and, excuse me, etc., etc. There are so many predators out there. I know. I was raised by them and taught by them and abused by them. And they thought I was one of them. But I wasn't. And, but it's hurt. I'm doing so much better. I hope you are too. Let's wrap it up. I'm here to support you best I can. And, thanks for joining me on this little insightful journey of discovering who I am and where I've been. And I just want to help you. I don't know how, but somehow by what I do, I hope I help you. It's okay to be you. You're worth standing up for. No more abuse. Stop the violence. Your body, your choice. Love you.